Hello there, my name's David Taylor and I'm back with another one of my video blogs. We've moved into the latter part of April now. I'm actually filming this on the 21st, and obviously the main thing that has happened this month is what's going on here now. There it is, it's the sun. Non-stop sun really since the very start of the month, and that means that in general the plants have been growing on very fast. And indeed, in terms of the exhibition plants that I want to use for shows, it's actually probably pushed them on a little bit faster than I would have liked, really. Right, now one of the things that I'm very glad that I did do at the start of the month, at the very start of the month, was get the shading on. I'm normally pretty late in getting my shading on. In fact, it's into May when I do it. But I'm very, very pleased that I got it on in the first few days of April, because I saw the long range weather forecast, which they more or less got right. And I'm very, very pleased. You'll probably see it has darkened down the glass house now, perhaps compared to some of my other videos that I've done in the past. And I think that's made a great deal of difference. It's lowered the temperatures in here, and it's certainly reduced the stress on the plants that would have happened this month had I not put the shading on. I use the shading that you just spray over. There are several types. There's the cool glass, which is the normal average one, but there are a number of different types of shading material out there. You can brush them on or paint it on. If you've got a glass house that, say, is in a situation where it only gets sun on one side of it, some growers obviously just shade the side that has the sun coming in on. Now, I've got a glass house that is directly south-facing, so basically the rear elevation there and the two sides need to be fully shaded. You may notice that the end, which is north-facing, doesn't have any shading on it because it never has sunshine coming through the windows at that end, so I don't need to bother doing that end. Now, of course, one of the issues that we have with all this clear sunny weather in April is that at night we're still getting quite cold temperatures. So I've been having my heater on every night because we're not getting far off a touch of frost here. Temperatures going down to just 1 or 2 degrees at night, giving us a touch of frost. So that is the downside with having the sunny days, sunny warm days in April, are still producing chilly nights at night. Now, as I've already mentioned, one of the problems with getting a lot of warmth, a lot of continuous warmth like this, is that for plants for exhibition are growing on probably a little bit faster than you would ideally like. I've been holding back the feed slightly in order to just slightly try and temper the growth, but they're still growing away quite fast. And indeed, I have actually had individual bloom stems starting to come up from some of the plants which I've been breaking off. We will, of course, reach a stage over the next week or two. I usually say the start of May is when I let my plants just then break for bloom, and then you'll have to work backwards and just take off blooms that are obviously spent before the time of the show. Now, one of the problems that you can get on some plants that have, say, been in pots for quite a while is a slight sort of discoloration of the leaves. You'll get just slight veining come through. This is an example of a plant, a dwarf plant, that's probably been in this pot for 8, 9 or even 10 months. And it's just now beginning to get to a stage where it's struggling to absorb feed because the roots are probably filling the pot. And the way to solve that is just with a simple dose of Epsom salts. What that does is it enables the plant to absorb nitrogen more effectively. And so I've gone over to using an Epsom salts type feed, usually 2 tablespoons in 2 gallons or 10-litre watering can. Now, the problem that we can have with show plants putting on a lot of growth now is that we will have to make a decision sooner or later about when we're going to go over to a high potash feed, because too much balanced feed, which is the number 3 Chempac or Vitax 111, things like that, a balanced feed, will eventually start making the plant get too big, especially with all this warmth and sun that we're getting at the moment. So it's important to make a decision about when you're going to go over to a high potash feed. It's a tricky one because really, in a way, we could do with doing it now. But because of the fact that, we're still getting on for a couple of months away from the show time that I want, because we don't want to entice bloom coming too early, I'll probably wait to the turn of the month and then I'll go over to a high potash feed just for